Texas to the Elite Eight for the first time in 15 years. Texas knocks off Xavier 83-71.
RT, what was it like when you told your mom, like, it's done, I am the head coach at the University of Texas?
We embraced, shed some tears a little bit together. My sister was there as well, and we just kind of cried together a little bit in terms of tears of joy and tears of happiness.
This has been a different run, a different experience for you, the way everything went down following the arrest of Coach Beard. What did you learn about yourself that maybe you didn't know in this process to become the head coach at Texas?
I think for myself, our staff, we had really good chemistry to begin with, but we really got a lot closer in terms of what we had to do every day to keep these guys going and stay in the course. When you go through some form of adversity in life, I think you always lean heavily on your faith. And I put everything in the Lord's hand in terms of what was happening with us, where we were going to go. And, you know, there really wasn't a lot of worrying. When you're worrying, you need to be praying. And did a lot of praying and lean heavily on my faith.
I was with you with Lance Blanks calling the game against Rice the day that everything went down with Coach Beard. And you showed up to the shoot-around, and you still were normal RT, and it seemed like you took all the pressure away from your team and almost placed it on yourself. How were you able to do that and stay true to yourself in such a difficult time?
I think in those moments, I think you have to be the best version of yourself, and I was just trying to be myself. I try to wake up every day with a positive outlook on life and a great attitude. You want to hopefully instill that in your guys. We were in the midst of a really tough storm that day. The last thing you wanted the guys to be that day was tight. We were prepared to go into that game and try to put our best foot forward to win that ball game. And so I think our guys took a deep breath, and we said, hey, let's go do what we have to do. We know it's not going to be easy. We're playing an older team in Rice. We worked that day from the time that everything transpired to the overtime of winning that ball game.
I'll never forget my conversation with Bob Huggins at West Virginia. He said, there are things that Rodney Terry is doing with Texas that it's the reason why Texas is winning basketball games. He put it on you. When did you feel comfortable doing it your way?
Well, I think that still took some time. I mean, the last thing you want to try to do is come in and upheaval everything that you've been doing to that point, because if you did that, I thought it would be detrimental to our team. So we tried to stay in a really good routine through Christmas there, and as we kind of got into league play and started moving through league play a little bit, you start implementing some things and doing some things that I thought would enhance what we were already doing.
How'd you win over the team in that span?
I think just being yourself. We're all going to coach our guys really hard and hold our guys accountable, but you're also going to have a good relationship with the guys and continue to let them know that you care about it more than just basketball.
When did it become apparent to you that, hold on, this is now a job interview? I have a shot to be the full-time head coach.
Well, I think from day one, you have to have that approach. And after the first game, I talked to Rick Barnes. He and I got a chance to talk, and he said, you know, you got to see yourself as the next guy for 20 years doing this. You can't go in there thinking it's a one-year deal. You are the coach, and this is your team.
Chris Del Conte even called the process a long job interview. What was told to you in terms of what it would come down to, whether you were the full-time head coach or not?
Our administration was great. They just basically gave me the whistle and said, hey, go earn it and do what you do best. Help these guys, you know, try to achieve all the goals that we want to achieve for this season, and were just so supportive in the background and letting us, you know, have an opportunity to do that.
The narrative, meanwhile, through this entire season was, what does Rodney Terry need to do to get the job? And a lot of people set different levels of expectations. Well, he needs to get to the Sweet 16. He needs to reach the Final Four. How in tune or aware were you of that narrative that was set up by other people?
I didn't give a whole lot of thought to it, to be honest with you. My whole process and thought process was about trying to get better each and every day with this team. We played in probably the most competitive Big 12 conference race I've been a part of. I've been a part of the Big 12 for 13 years as assistant and head coach, and from top to bottom, there were no nights off from January 1st. My whole focus was on trying to win a Big 12 championship, and that was the regular season, and just trying to put our guys in the best position to be successful every day in every game. And I was really just kind of living where my feet were and staying in the present, to be honest.
So you get the job, and it's your turn to be introduced as the next head coach of Texas men's basketball. What's the process like getting ready for that moment? You don't win or lose games in a situation like that. You can win or lose some of the favor of the fans and from recruits particularly as well. So what was that like?
Well, I think for one, you want to thank everybody that's helped you get to this position right now. Chris Berry gave me a great opportunity to come here, and I'm very appreciative and so respectful of that opportunity. My family, my mentors, you want to make sure you thank them. You also want to thank administration for believing in you and giving you an opportunity. Most importantly, you want to thank the team I worked with this season. They gave us an incredible journey, an incredible ride, and I wouldn't be in the position I'm in right now if it wasn't for those guys and what they sacrificed and gave up every single day and how they laid it on the line every day for this university, both on and off the court.
That was one of the coolest moments for me. You walk in the Centennial Room and your guys stand up and they start the standing ovation. What was that like for you?
Man, I love this team. I love this group. It meant a lot to us over the last 2 years, putting together a really good group of guys that really just had one common goal, and that was to try to win a national championship and try to make Texas basketball relevant again at a very high level.
What's next for Rodney Terry and Texas basketball?
Well, we got to put another roster together. We got a lot of work to do from the time that horn went off to now, working on players. We got to re-recruit our guys back, and then we got to go out and we got to try to attract some of the best guys in the country that want to be a part of what we're doing here and try to build on the success we had this past season.
What's the goal for you? What's the expectation and the goal moving forward?
Well, I think the goal and the standards for us and the expectations every year is to try to compete for a Big 12 championship. This year we'll still be in the Big 12. It'll be the SEC moving forward. And then I think from there in postseason play, you always want to try to compete for a national championship. When you're at the University of Texas, you want to compete for the whole thing.